Well, good morning. That was terrific. Did you hear yourselves? That was amazing. My name is Dan, and I'm honored to serve as pastor here. I also get the humbling honor to teach out of the Bible. Our main message today, as always, comes out of 1 Timothy. And we look forward to receiving and learning and growing. I pray your heart is tender and soft. And as Pastor Yon said, a lot going on in our country and in our culture. And it seemed to me we were about an inch away of some kind of culture, if not literal civil war, with the amount of vitriol and despairing that would have occurred among the opposing political forces. And I recognize that the reason why some people would have gone to war is because they would have been despairing with hopelessness, that their king of their party was taken down. And the reason why Christians don't despair when political kings come down is because we already have a king. And that king has transcended centuries of political murder and homicide and assassinations and terrible. If you go back centuries, what kingdoms were experiencing centuries ago makes what is happening in our culture probably look like playground rivalries among school children compared to what was happening centuries ago. I don't mean to minimize what happened last night, but I mean to give us some perspective that when a political party has kings that they hope in, they despair when they're gone. And that despair leads to deadly vitriol. And vitriol always leads to violence, right? And I believe that we have the power to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And if we sense vitriol in our own hearts, we should examine where that vitriol is coming from. Our vitriol always leads to violence. And it's quite possible that our vitriol comes from believing that somebody is evil. And when you call somebody and say somebody and describe a person as evil long enough, eventually there are people in their right mind who believe that you should reduce the evil, eliminate the evil. I happen to have a growing conviction that people do evil. They're affected by evil. They're influenced by evil. Paul the Apostle says, I was the worst of sinners. I was doing evil, but I was blind and ignorant. And so after we examine our own hearts, I expect that Christians like us would go to the Father in heaven in repentance and prayer and pray for our enemies and pray that God intervenes and rescues their soul. And if you have political enemies, our job is to pray and love, participate in government like a good citizen, but pray and love. That's our part. And let God deal with justice. Let God deal with meting out who gets punished for wickedness and evil, and we continue to pray and love to be a part of the solution. And my prayer is that our hearts are tender to how easy it is to go from being politically engaged to eventually elevating someone to the point where they're a king over our hearts, where if they are gone, if they are killed, or if they are suddenly out of power, that we sense ourselves despairing and hopelessness. And always good to just, I think, do a healthy checkup in our own hearts and pray. Pray for our country, pray for people that you know and love who are swept downstream in hatred and vitriol. And we're grateful that God is at work. He's overseeing our country. He's intricately involved in our country, and we believe that His kingdom is what He's put us, where He's put us to advance, the kingdom of Jesus, no matter how the kingdom of this country goes. So